Okay, so we are back. Thank you very kindly for staying tuned into Pan-African Television. My name is Kwame Owusu Danso. Let me extend a heartfelt apologies to every one of you who was expecting me on the show yesterday. I couldn't make it because I had to attend to other very important issues here. But I left you in the capable hands of my colleague David Atto, who steered the affairs of the morning show yesterday. Today I'm back. And I'm back with a bang, like they always say. We are going to be dealing with a plethora of issues here on the morning show. It's getting closer to the elections, and so you should know that we are going to really fire all the missiles that we have, whether it is the Hiroshimas, whether it is the atomic bombs, what have you. We are going to make sure that we undilutedly speak truth to power, because that is the only way we can get proper accountability. And I know that this morning we are going to do precisely that. So I want you to join me on the show with your text messages and WhatsApp messages. But most importantly, I don't want your text messages to be divorced from what we are discussing. Oftentimes you send messages which are at complete variance with the topics that we've tabled for our conversation. Please, let's send messages according to the topics that we are discussing this morning, so that others can get the opportunity to join in the conversation, and also to share in your own expressions relative to the conversation that we're having here on the morning show. I'm excited today to have in the studios with me our in-house governance expert, Dr. Mohammed Abubakar Marzouk, who has become a household name in Ghana. People love him so much. When I went to Tamale, everybody was asking about him. Today, he's a proper Dagomba man. He's clothed in his native wear. Good morning to you, sir. Good morning, sir. And how are you doing?
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. I like the way you say
well.
Alhamdulillah.
Yes.
And he's here seated. We're gonna tap into his fountain of expertise here this morning. And also here seated with us is our very own big brother, Timothy Atabwade. Awuntrim, who is here, the former MP for Busa North constituency. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning.
You are coming back into that office in 2024. Mark my words.
Inshallah.
Mark my words.
Inshallah.
You want to dare me?
No,
I am not. What's that guy's name? Prophet
Owusu Bempa.
Owusu Bempa. I am not Reverend Owusu Bempa.
He's a magician.
I am not Obinim. I am not my favorite. I have one that I really like. They call him what's his name? Iron Boy. What's his name? Obofo, Reverend Obofo. I like that guy.
That guy's a show.
No, I just like him. I just like that guy. I just like him. I just like him. I don't follow him much, but I think I like his spirit. Sure. I like his heart. He gives, and people who give, people that we must always,
Applaud.
yes.
And Kwame, let me take this opportunity to. Today is 11/11/11, and this is the day the First World War ended. 11. It ended on the 11th hour, the 11th month, and the 11th day. That was when the First World War ended. Coincidentally, it is the birthday of my wife, who is currently watching this.
Oh, today's the wife's birthday.
In Tamale.
She's in Tamale now.
Yeah.
You see, your wife, what he's doing is not good.
What is he doing?
Oh, man, I was in Tamale for 2 beautiful nights.
Yeah.
And I didn't meet your wife.
No, did you tell
because
her
I wanted to taste
around?
her, because you've been talking about Tuozafi.
Yes.
I wanted to taste your wife's Tuozafi.
But probably you had Tuozafi elsewhere, and you thought it was better than what. So you are satisfied.
Yeah, no, you can't.
But I can bet you, if you had eaten her Tuozafi, you would have loved it.
Oh, yeah.
Today is her birthday. He's there with the kids. My daughter Anale, and then the boy Anyuense, both all in Tamale.
Men will always be boys.
And
look at the soft voice with which he is, wishing the wife a happy birthday.
We have to do it.
Take it. You take it.
Saying that I'm wishing her
It's romantic.
Yeah, very romantic.
a happy birthday, the best of times, and God grant her long life to see her great grandchildren. To equally bless her with good health, most especially. And he has soft heart for people. He does charity to a lot of people out there. And to wish they are in Tamale Jusinaili.
But I was also in Jusinaili.
In Jusinaili too. My mother too is watching at Tichman. He's currently there with a younger sister. He's also called Teresa Pofik.
I see.
And the auntie is called Christy Akusung. They are all watching you and they love the program. I'm wishing them all the best. And all our friends too. We wish them all the best. We are hoping that come December 7th, the people of this country would do as what the U.S. did. The U.S. people did Donald Trump. We have another replica of Donald Trump here.
Hey, man, I take strong exceptions to that.
No, you see,
I take strong exceptions to that.
When he lost his elections, yes, you are taking. I'm saying, when President Akufo-Addo lost elections in the year 2008, he rushed to the Supreme Court in order to stop the elections. You remember the infamous Supreme Court that Atachi and Co. were to file to stop the counting and announcement of the elections. The same thing Donald Trump is doing. The same issues. We can go from boot to boot with the issues that clearly distinguishes and define who they are.
All right.
And for me, I keep saying that this election is about the electorate. When they stand in the scorching sun and vote for us, what do they expect the politicians to do for them? Are they going to hold us responsible to account for the resources and the power they bestowed on us, or they are going to let us go scot-free? A vote for the MPP means that you are asking the politicians to come, steal your money, do careless things, and go away, and that you still vote for them. And a vote against them is a warning to any new government that comes into power that, look, the people are watching you. And once the people are watching you, it is incumbent on you to use the resources judiciously to the betterment of the people of this country who keep crying for their daily needs. And that is how we expect the electors to do. And I know we are going to go into details of the scandals that have bedeviled this country. Even one scandal should be able to throw this government out. But hey, here we are, hearing people that 4 more for Nana, 4 more to do what? To steal more? To perpetuate family and friends? Or what? Let us go into the details.
We'll get into the nitty-gritties of that. But happy birthday again to you, Mrs. Awuntrim. I wish you what you wish for yourself.
Don't wish my wife a happy birthday.
Oh,
why are you doing that?
We are yet to
you know, he described you as an expert in good governance.
Well,
you know, we have domestic governance too.
You want to domesticate the governance. All right, that's okay. I mean, I'm sure.
So I wish you a happy birthday.
But let me quickly introduce the topics.
Yeah.
So that we'll grant ourselves the opportunity to speak to them. Ethiopian military seizes airport as fighting rages in Tigray. And Agyapa deal, massive demo against government coming soon. The Insight newspaper reported this particular story on its front page. COVID-19 fight, another lockdown looms. Daily Analyst reported that Airbus Buhaha arrest Bahama if you think so. NDC Des Amidu, the informer, reported this particular story. So these are the issues that we've tabled for our conversation this morning. Unfortunately, we're not able to get an MPP rep here because all of them, I don't know, for some strange reasons, their phones are either not going through or they are off or they're not picking up.
By Agyapa.
So, well, let's see whether or not we will be able to address these issues holistically here on the show. I've already introduced my panelists, but for those of you who are just tuning in, I have in the studios with me Honorable Timothy Atabwade Awuntrim, former MP for Busa North constituency, and also Alhaji Dr. Abubakar Mohammed Marzouk is also here. He's a governance expert, and we're going to be hearing from him as well. Let's quickly start the conversation from an African perspective and fly all the way to Ethiopia and find out what is happening there. It appears that there is some conflagration between the government and some rebel groups, and is really eating into the center of the government in Ethiopia. AU has cautioned them to immediately cease fire and address whatever the fundamental issues are. But importantly, let's look at what has occasioned that and perhaps use that to build on the conversation that we're having. But from where you sit, Doc, generally, what will be your take on this subject matter? And then we'll look at the other nuances of the story, please.
Good morning to the cherished viewers of Highways, and thanks for the opportunity to be here. Special good morning to the people of Nantong, to Yanna, to Yuna, and to Myanglana. You know, some anthropologists are of the view that Ethiopia is the cradle of human civilization. Since we are talking about the birth of human civilization, we need to have a foundation of it. And therefore, we also want to comment on the birth of a parliamentarian civilization in our land. And that is why I want to start by wishing our wife. I want to ensure that at the end of the day, she would find me more romantic than my brother.
The Heritage Fund is all what happened to it in Parliament.
Not inherit. I don't wish you that. You are a very strong person. Yes, but I want her to have a very good day. I wish her the best of life. I wish her long life, good health, and abundant prosperity. May Allah make her a very strong mother. May she continue to be a source of inspiration to the youth. May she continue to be the comforter of our brother and a nice wife that will take care of the children.
Thank you.
Good. Yes, Ethiopia. Kwame, you may agree with me that war is no alien to Ethiopian civilization. But what is more disturbing is the military aspect of Ethiopian warfare is very disturbing. We think that Ethiopia should be a secular, sovereign, democratic state, would be the backbone of governance. Unfortunately, periodically you hear guns trying to decide for the masses. And that should be a source of concern to every African. What is happening is traceable to injustices in the form of governance in Ethiopia. For a military to rise against a legitimate government to the extent of seizing airports, that should be a source of concern. I am not saying that the government is entirely wrong, but at the end of the day, you realize that certain expectations of the people from the government are not met. And if a section of the people feels cheated, definitely it will rise against the government. And we are living on a continent where misdirected, misfortuned people in uniform called army can misbehave at will. Anytime at all they have the opportunity, they try as much as possible to misbehave. For all you know, the soldiers fighting are not doing anything in the interest of the people. For all you know, they may be pursuing their own personal agenda. But because they have had a leeway, it is difficult for anybody to establish that they are fighting for their personal agenda. We can only opine. And my opinion is simple. What I am saying is that the people of Ethiopia should come together to address this concern. Beyond the people of Ethiopia, I believe AU has a role to play. If AU cannot do anything, then it moves to the UN. It's time for the UN to act. Anytime at all there is any confusion in Africa, and we expect either ECOWAS or AU or any other regional body to act, definitely it becomes somewhat a matter of disappointment. So let's, instead of from the bottom to the highest level, I think it is time for the highest level to start acting, so that we will establish the inaction of the various governments on the continent of Africa. I am just introducing the generality of the whole issue. I think time will permit us to go into the nitty-gritty of the issue, just as you have rightly said. But I believe that at the end of the day, if we come into critical analysis of this issue, definitely we're going to establish injustice as the source of the problem.
Okay.
Thank you.
Very well, very well. Well, so injustice is one of them. Also, you know, when there was that instability in the region, there was a certain coalition that was formed, and you recall that Abiy, who is now the prime minister, was asked to mediate the affairs between, you know, all of these parties. Now, and that won him the Nobel Prize, Peace Prize. Now, what has happened is that they were supposed to. I mean, the military forces up north, in that particular region where the issue is escalating, have indicated that they are not particularly excited about the way things have panned out in respect of the transitional process. Because they thought that the prime minister now, who was obviously the mediator, was going to now facilitate things for an election to be held and for the people to, also be able to govern their own enclave, right? And that hasn't happened. Well, they blamed it on COVID-19, but they claim that the extended stay of the prime minister is a problem for them. Secondly, some monies that were supposed to be given to the Tigray forces, right, were also diverted for the purposes of local government usage and things like that, and that really did not sit well with them, and which is what started this conflagration. So it's a chicken and egg situation. You don't know how to really address it because these are your people, and these are the very people whose consent you need to be able to stabilize the region, and somehow you've not been able to meet their full expectation, and this is degenerating into something else. I don't know how Ethiopia is really going to get out of these woods, because it's a big issue that has to be addressed, particularly when communication has been cut off, so nobody knows what is happening in Tigray, and also that the Tigray leader is saying that there's been some airstrike in their region. There have been some casualties reported. Now, the most serious aspect of this thing is that if you look at the paramilitary troops that they have, because they say that the troops up north have a lot of conflict experience.
Yes.
Because they were the ones who dealt with the issue who fought Eritrea, when they wanted to succeed, right?
Sure.
So they have a lot of experience, and they have in excess of over 250,000 well-trained troops.
Yes.
So that is a big problem for them, and they've been casualties recorded at this material moment. So I really don't know how Ethiopia is going to surmount this particular big issue.
That's why I've started by saying that war is not alien to Ethiopia.
Yeah.
When we talk of Ethiopia, then of course, even in biblical days, they had opportunity to wage war, and that is exactly why Ethiopia stands out as one of the countries. I don't want to say the only country. One of the countries that never experienced colonialism.
No, that's right. That's right, because they fought.
Yes, they fought. Yeah. They are men of fighting spirit, men and women of fighting spirit. But when you look at the conventional war, you realize that the training or bravery itself is not enough. You also need sophisticated weapons. You need better strategies.
In the world they have one of the countries that have the best army, yes. The best military equipment, yes. The best everything.
Sure. So when the best is fighting the best, then the result becomes the worst. Yeah. When the best is cooperating with the best, the result is the best. Mm-hmm. But when the best is at loggerhead with the best, the result will definitely be the worst. And that is why you and I are concerned about the common people in Ethiopia. Both factions would be primarily arguing that they are fighting in the supreme interest of the people. However, the common people themselves become the victims. In fact, that's why I don't even want sanctions, because sanctions are primarily targeted at the people, the rulers, the leadership. But the effect of the sanctions are felt. The effects are felt by the people themselves. Because the leaders are corrupt, they have a way of manipulating the resources to satisfy their whims and caprices. But the common man, the common woman, do not have anything to do. So at the end of the day, you realize that there's two good forces, two well-armed forces are fighting. Definitely the people of Ethiopia will suffer.
Right.
And that is why I am calling for an external intervention. If you leave it in the hands of the Ethiopians themselves, you have only two populists that will solve the issue. in any governance structure, there are only two forms of populace, right? You have the governor and then the governed, the leadership and the led. So if you leave it to any of these two factions, definitely they cannot do anything. Because, one, if you leave it to the government will not be fair to the people. You leave it to the rebels will not be fair to the people. You leave it to the common people, those people will not have the sophisticated logistics and peace of mind to solve any problem. They are incapacitated. So definitely we need an external intervention. And the first external intervention should come from the AU. If the AU fails, it can refer the matter to the United Nations. And I don't think that together any issue can defeat us.
All right.
If we come together, definitely we'll be able to come out with a holistic solution that will be in the interest of all the factions.
Yeah. Okay. Honorable, let's hear from you on this subject matter briefly, and then
I think just brief. You see, my concern about these type of conflicts is always the poor who suffer more.
Exactly.
They were even suffering before the war came. Can you imagine? Even in times of peace, they've been suffering. They work hard to eke an income for their families. And when conflicts like this come, just like when the COVID-19 came, it was the poor that suffered most. That was why it was thought wise that food should be given to people who could not eke an income for themselves. Even though the process was abused here, it shows how that when there's a conflict or a disaster or an emergency in any endeavors of human endeavor, it leads to a lot of catastrophic and disastrous results as compared to what they want to achieve. Since the days of conflicts, even starting from the World War up to today, what has human generations benefited from that? It's a catastrophe to human beings. The Tigray region is a region that, when you read the literature about sixth of the population of Ethiopia, which is about 100 million, are located there. It is bordered on the other side by Sudan, that is also not stable. Djibouti is on the Red Sea by the Suez Canal. So they are a country, virtually a landlocked country. So having challenges with even sea transportation and so on. So you can imagine the cost of items there. And when these things do happen, we expect that the cool heads should be brought on the table, like my brother said. The UN and other agencies should come in to ensure that peace prevails. Look, it is not for nothing that the headquarters of the AU is in Ethiopia. It's a symbol of a peace, of a place where conflicts can be resolved amicably to the satisfaction of all the warring factions. If the AU cannot resolve this conflict, if the people of African descent cannot trash our differences within them, and they always use arms and missiles and so on, and imagine that these arms are manufactured by the West. So we pay hard-earned taxpayers' money and foreign currency to this Western industrial guns manufacturing industry just to turn around and kill our people. Is there any sense in it? Did we go or did we come? Kwame, you just go and buy a weapon and come and kill your family. Is that not the same thing? All your endings within the day, you go and buy a pistol and then come and kill your family. That's the same thing. So the people are already in a very deplorable situation. We would want to see them benefit from their government rather than the same government that wants to rule them turn around to kill them and then impose on them very hardship conditions. Like my brother said, when sanctions are imposed, the sanctions are intended to hit hard on the leaders of those states causing the conflicts. But interestingly, it hasn't hit them. It rather goes to affect the vulnerable, the poor, the needy, and so on. Already, people are in a state of hardship. So for me, we should call on the Ethiopian government, the Tigray fighting forces, to come to the table to ensure that peace reigns for the good of their own people.
Right. For the good of their own people, says Honorable Timothy Awontirim. If you just joined us, you're watching the News Review segment here on your #1 and most authoritative TV station, Pan-African Television, broadcasting from here in Accra and across 32 African countries. We are still in the studios with Honorable Tim Awuntrim and Dr. Abubakar Marzouk, and we have just dispensed with the Ethiopian issue. We're coming back home to address some fundamental domestic stories here. And as Honorable would like to put it, domestic governance. Agyapa deal. Agyapa deal. And I like the way MPP captions their policies. Agyapa Obatampa. Agyapa Ofioye. Asempa Yitia. In the pankasa. I like the way they caption it, you know, it's good. But by and large,
criminal rhyming.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Ghanaians, there's a certain level of epiphany in the system. People have become very aware. People have become very awake, and they are beginning to, learn about the things that happen around us, and they have begun to pose the right questions and to demand for the right answers from the powers that be, the powers that they gave, they gave to the people in power, right? So it is very crucial that we address this fundamental issue of Agyapa, because that has become an albatross around the neck of all of us, government and the good people of this country. We have to address it, particularly when it's taking a different dimension, where the special prosecutor has brought his own report in an attempt to addressing, this particular issue of Agyapa and the other attending issues that, there exists within the response that he gave. All of these matters are going to be dissected here on the show. I want to start with you, Honorable Timothy Awuntrim, on this subject matter. Agyapa, the massive demonstration against government coming soon. Now, the basis for this massive demonstration, this impending massive demonstration, is flowing from the stream of the response that was given by Martin Amidu in respect of the Agyapa deal, right? So the NDC held a press conference and brought to the fore some very fundamental nitty-gritties of the issues that we have not. So they have said that it's important that we address this issue and put some finality to it. Now, from where you sit, and I want us to systematically, listen to me closely, sir. I want us to systematically dissect the issue of Agyapa. How did it come about? What was the purpose, the intent and purpose for the creation of this vehicle, right? What went into its characterization, if you will? Who were the people that formed the stills?
The cabal.
The stills upon which this special vehicle was standing, right? What were the attendant challenges that followed, the people who were mentioned in this particular, Agyapa deal, and why was it abrogated, if you will? Why was it put on hold? What was the basis, the reason for putting that on hold? And finally, the special prosecutor and his, as described by many, hypocrisy in respect of responding to this matter. No, I mean, I want to say it as I told you, we are getting close to, inching close to an election. I'm not mentioning words at all. The hypocrisy of the special prosecutor in responding to this subject matter. Please, let's hear from you.
Yeah, Kwame, thank you again for the opportunity given to me in terms of the Agyapa deal. Before the Agyapa deal hit us in Ghana here, we had a lot of scandals, corruption scandals, reported against this government. And one of them that I can mention is the PDS scandal, that this government, through an executive approval, went to Parliament to ensure that the PDS deal was done. In fact, you remember that the PDS started with the John Mahama administration at the time, when the Millennium Challenge Compact gave 400
Compact 2.
Compact, no, yeah, Compact
the Compact
2.
1 and 2. You want to talk about 1 first?
Yeah, Compact, just the Compact 2 because of the time.
Yeah.
Gave $490 million to assist in the energy sector and so on. So when we left power and this government came, they said they would want to go over it again. And probably what they wanted to do was to make sure that Ghanaians own majority shares. So 49% shares for the people, the company that came to take over the PDS, and 51% share. For us to know that the 51% share was made up of the family and friends of this government. In fact, as a result of that, this government and the people of Ghana lost a $190 million from the Agyapa, from the PDS scandal. I just want to counter Agyapa. And even we were supposed to have a regional compact that we're going to benefit $500 million. We lost it too, because it was coming from the US, and the US doesn't deal with corrupt acts within a state and so on. And I can go on the bus scandal. We know what went to the excavators, the 500 excavators that were taken from the Galamsey people, legally registered small-scale miners who bought this thing with hard-earned currency, all were taken and they vanished. The Ameri innovation that was brought to Parliament through an executive approval. And when we say something is executive approval, it does not go through Parliament. They went with the Ameri deal in order. They made so much noise that, in fact, indeed, when they came, they were going to investigate and cancel. What did we hear, Kwame? They sent a delegation to Dubai, led by the current Minister of Interior, went and drank champagne and came, and they padded the compact with $800 million. When the issue was identified by our people, the president said he was misled. We can go on. The Australian visa scandal, the office of the president machinery alone spent 63 million Ghana cedis on traveling expenditure and taking refreshment, drinking tea and taking sausages at the heart of the presidency, and renting private jets at the cost of 17,000 per hour. That is how this government said they wanted to come and then protect our resources, and that they were going to use the ANAS principles to ensure that corruption is uprooted and dealt with. What did we see? We only lost one member of the ANAS deal. Fast forward, this government has borrowed so much, borrowed 9 billion euros, $9 billion through the Eurobond raising and so on. They use ESLA to borrow. They use Get Fund to take $1.5 million. They went on borrowing spree, so they had run out of options of borrowing. The last thing that was left for them was the Agyapa. So what they did was that they went in with the intention of collateralizing, using our royalties in a safe haven in New Jersey, where for the period of 15 years, they were going to get $500 million, according to them, to undertake development projects. And by that, that was where they kickstart their friends and families' business by ensuring that Kofi Busumpem, who is the son of Osafo Mafo, becomes the CEO. Gabi Ochidako's law firm became the legal advisors and so on, African legal associates. Then Data Bank, that is owned by Kennedy Japan, then became the transaction advisors. About $2 million that we lost. Interestingly, at the time they were taking these monies, the law on Minerals and Income Investment Fund had not been assented to by the president. Those monies they were taking, they took it illegally because there was no law in that establishment. It was yet to be assented to. The deal was brought to Parliament. The minority said, look, we cannot debate this deal at 11 o'clock midnight within 4 hours and ensure, and you didn't even come with it with the financial prospectus for us to know whether this deal in particular was worth investing in it and that to bring good investment to the people of Ghana. They went ahead with their parliamentary majority and push it through under the cover of darkness. And all what we said about this thing came to nothing. In fact, what we heard was always a mocking. You can remember the Minister of Interior coming to Parliament. When they are debating about a serious matter of this nature, he brought in the Papano. The Papano just to rubbish and make a mockery of Ghanaians and so on. So our people walked out. And when they walked out, now people are saying that Parliament did not. What can Parliament do when you have a majority that would not listen? And even members of the majority, even if they were against this deal, they could not, because when you go against whatever the president and his family and friends do, who have captured the state, they will go against you. That was why some of them lost their primaries. That was why some of them lost their primary. So they are forced to go in. And lo and behold, when the issues came out, we raised corruption issues against it. What did we see? The current, the Office of the Special Prosecutor said, look, I am going to investigate all the noise about the Agyapa deal. And when he went into the investigation, he saw that it was fraught with corruption. First and foremost, he identified that there was no law that they were dealing with. He requested for documentation pertaining to the investment on Agyapa. It took the Minister of Finance weeks to respond because they were not having legitimate documents covering the transactions. Those that were fishing here and there to get documents and to get documents that were not even related, that delayed his investigations. Through his investigation, he saw that people directly related to the finance minister, one Ashley, who had worked at Data Bank as the vice of Data Bank, had then been brought to the Minister of Finance to do all these deals. And as we talk, staff of Data Bank they are over 39. In fact, this issue was brought up by the cluster secretary who made a press conference and bemoaned the fact that previous staffers of the Minister of Finance have now been relegated to the background, and all the staffing there had been packed by members of Ken Oforiata's Data Bank and so on. The fast forward, the bidders, those who were asked to bring proposal for the Agyapa deal, and these were Barclays Bank, Stanchart, international financial institutions like Morgan Stanley and so on. They were the people who bid it. Amara was smuggled through the back door and brought in. Why did Amara? I've been asking this question, Kwame, even before that. The Attorney General had written her opinion questioning the unconsciousness, and he said that the Agyapa deal was unconscionable to the people of this country because you cannot mortgage the royalties in perpetuity, and that the CEOs and the board of directors were not known and they cannot be known, and that the CEO was there for life. So after the Attorney General gave an opinion, they came out and muzzled the Attorney General, and she went back trying to change what he had said. And I've often read something, Kwame, the Attorney General is part of cabinet, is that not it? So if the Attorney General is part of cabinet and a deal such as Agyapa was brought to cabinet to be discussed, the Attorney General would have read through the deal, seen the loopholes and advised. How come that the Attorney General gave the advice after it was brought to Parliament? It meant that the Attorney General was not at cabinet, or it wasn't a cabinet decision. That's where we saw that it was an executive approval. An executive approval means that the president has just signed and said, oh, this thing is okay, go and do it, without cabinet discussion. That's the meaning of the executive approval. Madnamidu went in and saw that Amara that was not part of this deal, was smuggled behind the door, sent in, and then they brought in Data Bank. And you know why it was smuggled there? Because all the other companies that did the bidding, had their local partners. And if one of them had Data Bank as their local partners, Amara wouldn't have been brought in. And Martin Amidu stated that Amara, by their account, what they did was that they were not part of the PPA process, the public procurement process, and what they did was against the Public Financial Management Act. And once you fault these two acts, then you are liable for prosecution, because it was the procurement issues that sent the former electoral commission woman Charlotte was set out. It's the procurement breaches that sent the PPA boss now Ejenim Boaten out. So if all these things were done, and what we are asking is that this family and friends of Nanado have already taken money on a law that did not exist. They flouted the law, and as a result, they should be brought to book. Not just that, but the money is paid back. And in Martin Amidu's finding, he saw that this was a case of chronism, favoritism, friends and family, and that they had brought in Amara to further accentuate the family and friends agenda that these people have got. And all what we are asking are the money that has been stolen, the money that has been taken by Data Bank and its cronies, The money that has been taken by Gabi Ochirdako's law firm, that there was no law, is a clear case against the laws of this country. Matnamidu further identifies that there was the possibility of money laundering. And already you know, Kwame, that money laundering by the EU has also identified this country under this government that we were engaged in money laundering. And now the Agyapa deal has also become a conduit for money laundering. These are all cases against the laws of this country, and we expect that this country and under Nana Addo, who has pledged to safeguard the resources of this country and to ensure judicious use of the resources of this country, bring his own people to book first. And you know the interesting thing, and that was where we had problems with Matnamidu. Matnamidu, you were on this issue of Agyapa. And remember that Matnamidu himself went in to investigate Agyapa. Nothing was referred to him. And in the case of the airbus thing, it was referred to you. So investigate the airbus, bring the report on airbus, and let us discuss the issue. You investigated Agyapa and knew very well. In fact, before I am hard pain discussing Matnamidu. One, because he's my uncle. Secondly, I think that he was the right fellow to ensure that corruption is unearthed, and that if issues of airbus has been reported to you. Now, listen to a thing. Martin Amidu's epistle, one of the letters, is asking that John Dramani Mahama should come and prove that he is not government official one. In fact, the Airbus issue is for you to investigate whether there was corruption in the Airbus transaction, and not for the president to come and prove that he is not government official one. So we felt that Matnamidu felt that he wanted to do politics of equalization, and that this report on Agyapa was damning to his friend, who is currently the president of Ghana, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo.
I agree with you.
And that he must bring just one line to equalize.
I agree with you when you say that.
Yes.
I agree with you when you say that, because the substantive issue for you to investigate. Was Agyapa.
It was Agyapa. And the issue of Airbus had been given to you. And before that time, Matnamidu had the time to respond to a comment made by His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. What was the comment? The comment was by a journalist that asked him what was he going to do when he becomes a president with the Matnamidu's office. And the president said, look, I am not going to do anything. I'm not going to even allow my appointees to do anything, because this is an institution that has been established by an act of parliament. And Matnamidu goes on to say that, why should John Mahama say that? My brother, what do you want him to say? I am a leader. A journalist has asked me a question pertaining to your office sitting here this morning. And I said, look, I cannot do anything about it, because it is established by an act of parliament, which is law, and you are doing your job. Should that solicit a response from you, Kwame? Should that? And this is how. Now, by this, Matnamidu, by that statement, is diverting our attention from the real issue of Agyapa, from the real issue of the corruption that has bedeviled Agyapa, from the real issue of the naked thievery and stealing of state resources by the friends and family cabal of this government. In fact, if for nothing at all, President Nana Addo has disappointed the people of this country. He tells himself that he's incorruptible. He has never stolen. But if you have never stolen and you are incorruptible, and your people, your direct family friends are neck deep in corruption issues, why don't you investigate them to ensure
that my
you are incorruptible? Right. If you allow them a field day to steal the resources of this country, then it tells you that you are even more corrupt than the word corruption.
Before I come to my doc here, let me still stay with you. Let's simplify this whole Agyapa issue. For somebody who does not understand it, for somebody who perhaps has not concerned himself with all of these matters that are happening, right? How can you make the person understand what Agyapa is, and why are we saying that it's fraught with corruption? Why are we saying that?
One,
I just want us to don't be so
much.
Just simplify the issues for everybody to understand what you are saying. What are you saying? What is the NDC saying?
What we are saying is that Agyapa is a special purpose vehicle that was set up, that has been set up by this government.
They are still leaving it up there.
No. I want to come down.
What is a special purpose?
It has been set up to take royalties from the mineral. You know, we produce mineral here, and our major mineral that we earn income on when we export, and then we get the royalties is gold. And every year we can get about $200 million from
when we sell those.
When we sell the gold,
we make 200. Let's say $200
million.
Okay, good.
Now this government, when they came to power, they had the
whole country,
for the whole country,
everybody.
For everybody.
Okay, good.
They said that the amount of money that we make from the Agyapa royalties, they would go to invest this money in a company in a tax haven. Tax haven is a
so the money
in
the money
Jersey.
that we make is 200 million.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And the 200 million.
Yes.
We are saying now is too small.
It's too small. So they were going to take $500 million from this investment.
So we are going to take 500 million from somebody.
From somebody.
And then we will use the gold mineral, the royalties that we make.
Yes.
As what?
As for development. No, for payment of the money we are taking. We are taking the money in advance. Just like you have the money, say, Kwame, give me 500 million and take this. As you continue to sell, they are going to make money and then revenue and then interest of your money. So if the 500 money out of the what you are giving me, you are going to make another additional $200 million from it. It's for your money, your capital you have given to me, and then the investment. Are you now very clear? And I think everybody is clear. It's the royalties that we get from the gold that we sell to the gold mining companies that mine here and go. They pay some money to us. The total amount a year is about $200 million. And government is saying that that money is not enough and that they would use that money as collateral to borrow more to undertake development projects. And we said, no, you cannot do that. And what they are doing now is they brought this law to Parliament to ensure that this thing is, we asked, in fact, the NDC members of Parliament asked that this deal, when you are bringing such a big deal in Parliament, you must accompany it with a memo detailing the financial analysis and prospectus to ensure that the investment that you are going into it is worth investing. It is going to bring the needed revenue to the people of this country, and that the people are not going to be shortcut. They are not going to be duped. They are not going to be taken for granted. And when they brought it, we said, no, we're not going to discuss without these attachments to it, financial analysis report, to ensure that we make a good deal. Then, in that law, we didn't know the board members, those who constituted, even those who were going to do the investment, we didn't know any of them. And again, in the law, they said that a son of the senior minister, Kofi Bosompe, Osafo Mafu, was going to be the life CEO in the next 15 years, and that no one can change him, whether there's a change of government or whether they find anything wrong with those investments. There was no change. What they've done is cast in stone. We are not going to change, and that we do not even know. You see, and that was where, you remember when my general secretary was talking, he talked about the fact that in the Shrag investigations against Ken Oforiatta, they realized that he has a savings in the tax haven. Yeah. And then when the money go there, how are we going to ensure that, how are we going to be sure that the money will not go into his account? And then in the Shrag report, it is there, people can go and then look at it. But this government is bent on building a friends and family property for their government while they're in power. When they leave power, all right, they are not thinking about the people of this country.
So yeah,
thank you. As we are talking now,
thank you.
We are asking before the demonstration. We are saying that we are giving this government 1 week, 7 days to ask all those who benefited, the financial advisors, to return their money, to return the $2 million they've already taken.
Is it 2 or 3?
Within that range. And Kwame, remember that they took the money without a law. The president had not assented to the law. The MIF law, the financial investment income law, had not been assented. So the money has been taken illegally. Ochiri Dako had already taken $103,000 from it. At least his friend Kokubaku told us. So we know that he has pocketed over $100,000 from this deal that has not yet materialized. Already they've started sharing the booty. And we are asking that we cannot do that. In fact, this is the same president who said, I am not coming to government to appoint my family and friends. For him to look into our face and tell us he has appointed over 56 family members and then they are qualified, and we other people, and then the other government that appointed one family member was not qualified.
Anyway, well, so I think that it's fundamentally you have addressed the issues. Thank you. Well, so let me now come to you, Dr. Marzouk, and listen to you on this subject matter. But before then, let me remind the viewers that the WhatsApp number is active. It's 0260846539. Well, so the NDC has decided to pay us for us to play their advert. So we're going for this quick commercial break to play NDC's advert. Well, they've paid us, so we have to play it. So let me go for this quick commercial break. When I come back, we shall listen to our indefatigable Dr. Marzouk Abubakar here on this very crucial subject matter of Agyapa. Stay with us, don't move a muscle.
Can I go?
Yo, what else that? What's running compared to me?
See, when you say Nancy, a juma per wedding.
When we said my per wedding, so sorry, I said for more for the end.
Papa, so you say,
Trust us, the kick of one I mentioned. Your mama saw bar or the Dumapa and a number. A Dumapa no moon over be 1 million jobs. I'll be their pension. Patients are fear piano or be 250,000 jobs. Yet Duma, oh, yeah, and then Okwa or Jania Pamuno.
Hey, sir. Na se onwa pese oye onwa adwuma so e
the obabon de say ya o say obeso obie na adwuma on tuato efie mienu na afa so me ne wo ye pese ye bie adwuma ye friend private sector no obama ye tuatua no eye mra ma ye kura afa so bo we bese a ye betumi ya tetre adwuma no ansi hu e wo no so ekuma bi afa medium size aya na ntem adwuma no so ye ntua corporate tax efie mienu afa vat kura ye so bat amam for vat no so beto so 5%.
so Papa. Me person me have juma.
And look at the bonus. Your mama say oba, what you mapadu munu, obaso ko police, obaso ko military, obaso your ministry, and yet den kra. Ya the head of Mukran say TVET free. After a national apprenticeship program no so. Obaso suya mason, obaso suya hairdressing. As that man can get to be obaso suya piano and who nyina be yem kra ma kra. Usuya ni nyina so no ma allowance kakra go botum. O wie nso ya boda kaketu bia. Waduma no aka de wom wo de akosua akofi waduma nase umpa we na obede
We kwa de Papa. Oh my ferry o.
wo be fere
We kwa de me mama juma po.
ya
Tuma Joma Hama ni NDC ama ejuma ni nkoso aba ama yenyina.
Bro, sa double track system we dey obrem kwa. Ti da ben kwa na to betwa.
Sir John Mahama ni NDC edi nkunim December 7th elections here eto obetwa
Na metitin se bi oriem se yin Mahama samba eye free SHS no obetwem.
enya no krebra John Mahama ni NDC ene besisi community day senior high schools e de share sa free SHS yase na fa e den na de ono ade aba no wo besan betwam de opeso wo ya ne se oba be yi sa double track system yi e free ho wo shankwala na de suemu kena e ma ni tumpon me de me de kura ne se sa TVET no technical and vocational education training no eno so be free
Sunday asem de teacher Emilia to wa reshim se yin Mahama samba double track system obetumi to ase
kokokura ama no John Mahama any NDC ene ba be yi anopa ne ewia school no free primary any JHS na when want to mean ye teacher Suleiman menka bibi nchiro 430 private senior high schools e wo Ghana etumi fa esukuu for nkwala 200,000 na John Mahama nso bae no obesi community day senior high schools mako 46 esan she 50 ase eno no wani no pona na ekufu Dubai watwi na ni awampa anto aso ye kan nyina abomu a etumi yi sa double track system no efiri ho
teacher Emilia me dem ntumi ntwan 7 December beba na mato ma John Mahama NDC wo mo no mo da number 2 na sa traffic light double track system ni die I was said to chat.
Tuma Joma Hama ni NDC ama ejuma ni nkoso aba ama yenyina.
Right, so those are the two paid adverts here for the NDC ahead of the 2020 polls. They're saying that they should vote number 2 for John Dramani Mahama for obvious reasons, and I'm sure there's no gainsaying the fact that the NDC has made it clear the things that they're going to be doing for the good people of Ghana. Dr. Marusuk, let me come to you on this Agyapa matter. Massive demonstration against government coming soon. The Inside newspaper reported this particular. You know, the Inside newspaper is very careful when it comes to selection of stories, and for this particular story to make it on its front page, it means that it has really gotten its attention and must be looked at from that perspective. So what I want us to just simplify this Agyapa conversation for everybody to understand it.
Okay.
And then you give us your own analysis and how we should address the issue going forward, please.
Thank you for the opportunity. First of all, let me admit that no matter how simplified it is, it remains complex. It is a complex issue by complex people for complex criminality. So there's no way you can bring it to the expected level of simplification. However, as a teacher, as a lecturer in a university, I should be able to simplify it to the understanding of those interested. Because we still have people who would never understand, no matter how simplified it is. Not because they do not have the intellectual capacity to understand, but because they do not have the national interest to understand. They think they do not belong to the opinion that pushes national agenda instead of partisan agenda. So let me make it clear. Last week, I described the Agyapa deal as legitimized criminality. Criminality that has, for whatever reasons, been able to get legitimacy. I stand by that description. Today, let me continue to say that it is an attempt by some people in government to lay down a foundation for the establishment of an economic empire, financial hegemony, political impunity, and governance immorality. I am saying this because right from the beginning, the minority in parliament had raised red flags against the implementation of the Agyapa deal. Majority did not understand. Many people did not even understand the nitty-gritties of the issue. Today, minority has been vindicated. Let me say clearly again that it suggests that we are indeed in an era of hegemony, cronyism, and nepotism. I am saying this because all the characters in the Agyapa deal are by blood or by political affiliation within related to the president. And because they are related to the president, they have become untouchable in the eyes of many people. If you read the open letter by Professor Frema Buzia to President Nana Akufo-Addo, you will definitely understand that the Agyapa deal is an illustration of cronyism, nepotism, and tribalism. Let me put it that way. And for government to win for government to ruin the lost public confidence, it must insist on one thing: either suspending or firing all the characters involved in the Agyapa deal, or ensuring that the Agyapa deal is re-examined and cancelled. A judge in the Wyoming case described the whole saga as create, loot, and share. I am describing this one as capture, loot, share, and invest. Capture, loot, share, and invest. And it's so simple. Why am I saying that? You are asking me to calm down. Calm down to the level of everybody. The Republic of Ghana has royalties. In this particular case, we are referring to the gold, right? The gold is meant for the enjoyment of every Ghanaian. The management of the gold, in business terms, is in the hands of a legitimate public institution. Am I right? Mm-hmm. Now, these untouchable characters in government have decided to capture the management of this royalty, of this gold. After capturing, they have been able to legitimize the capture by going for parliamentary approval. Now, Parliament gives them the right to manage, we are talking of simplification, to manage this item. And long before they assume the role of management, they had taken huge sums of money, right? If I'm wrong, I'm ready for correction. They have taken large sums of money. So it is a matter of capturing the management from a legitimate state institution for themselves. Now let's go from capture, let's go to the loot. After capturing this management with a questionable parliamentary approval, that the president himself says now that should be rectified, that the questions should be answered, that the deal should be refined. So what I am saying has already been corroborated by the president. Absolutely. And by the special prosecutor and by all those who are interested in the Republic of Ghana's development. They've taken the money, they've captured, they are looting, they've started looting by taking those sums of money. Now, for 15 years, right, they will be in control of these resources. Not the Republic of Ghana. Whatever the Republic of Ghana gets is based on their consideration, right? Am I right? It's based on their determination. Then, so you see an element of looting, you see an element of capturing, looting, sharing. So they share. So you see an element of sharing in this context. Sharing, right? Now we go to the investment. Economic investment. Definitely. These are people who are very intelligent in business. Very, very intelligent in business. And no one should be convinced that whatever they share among themselves will be in the interest of the Republic of Ghana. We expect them to invest in businesses. And it is alleged that some of them have started the businesses. I know of a radio station that can boast of any sophisticated equipment. And this radio station is allegedly owned by these people. So if we are talking of Agyapa deal, we do so because we are concerned Ghanaians. We do so because a clique, if you want to call it a cabal, has decided to hijack a substantial portion of our resources and to pursue an aggressive agenda of crimes and caprices. And I think it is up to all Ghanaians, irrespective of our political affiliations, irrespective of our ethnic affiliations, irrespective of our religious affiliations, to rise against outright thievery. It is important for the president to even consider another way of refinery. Going back to the parliament is not the best. It's the same parliament that gave oxygen, as you have rightly said, to this deal. And if the president wants to go back to the same parliament to change it, we are at liberty to think about two issues. One, either the parliament is under the cabinet manipulation, or the parliament didn't even know what it did. But I believe that parliament is made up of honorable people, intelligent people. These people cannot claim that they didn't know what they were doing. So at the end of the day, they realize that the president has a simple solution, not going back to parliament. I believe the president has the right to cancel the deal. Use legitimate means to cancel the deal. Not just say canceling it as in his capacity as the president. I don't know whether his veto covers that, but he has the right to cancel the deal if he wants, not just going back to parliament. And if he's going back to parliament with the deal, he must accompany that with the assurance that the deal at the end of the day will be in the interest of the people of Ghana. But before the president even goes to parliament, excuse me.
That's all right.
He must show commitment to the fight against corruption in relation to that deal. By one, firing the finance minister, who many people think is untouchable. Let the president know that we are operating a democratic rule. This is a constitutional order. This is a government that is built on the principle of the rule of law, equal justice. And this is not the first time the president will have to do it. Just 2 weeks ago, the president did that. So he must do so to convince all Ghanaians that some Ghanaians are no more Ghanaians than others. That we are not characters in the Animal Farm book. That we are equal before the law. And that all Ghanaians are legally equal. All Ghanaians are equal before the law. We do not have a situation where some Ghanaians are more Ghanaians than others. Two, the senior minister must also answer the firing command of the president. If only the president is fair. And this will even boost his campaign messages and electoral fortunes. Those of us who are apolitical, and you know me, I'm not political.
Of course.
Those of us who are apolitical may come into conclusion that the president means business for the nation. That the allegation of corruption, that the allegation of cronyism, that the allegation of nepotism, that the allegations of tribalism are not at all the case. But if the president leaves the Agyapa deal this way, definitely those that are politically partisan and those that are apolitical will have only one conclusion: that the president blesses the corruption, that the president cannot touch some people in government, that the president is aware of the stinky deal, that the president is a beneficiary of this gigantic criminality, legitimized by a parliamentary approval.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. 0260846539 is the WhatsApp number. We're also streaming live on Facebook, facebook.com/Pan-African Television. Well, so Dr. Marzouk, in a nutshell, has described this particular deal as capture, loot, share, and invest. And he further makes the point that the pot deal is a legitimized criminality. And he has sought to explain why the description given to this particular deal. So, for those of you who are just tuning in, you've missed a little bit, but you can go on my Facebook page as well. I have captured that particular aspect of the narrative that he put out, and it will be imperative for you to go watch and share so others can get the opportunity to also take a cue from what Dr. Marzuk said. Honorable Timothy wants to make a quick intervention. Yeah. I will give you just a minute. Yes, I won't go further. Further than that.
In Matnamidu's report, he even likened the Waterville and Wyoming scandal to this and said that they were just a microcosm, a small corruption compared to the Agyapa deal. So the Agyapa deal is a gargantuan deal, gargantuan corruption, and that the people of this country must look into the eyes of the MPP and tell them 4 more to do what, 4 more to steal more. And again, the Amara, Matnamidu also said it was a decoy. A decoy means that they were fronting for data bank. They were brought in, and when you bring Kwame, if you bring me into your company to do something, you'd always control me. You'd always control me because they were fronting for data bank. And look, I told you at the beginning, Amara is a South African company, and if they have the competence and the capacity to invest in gold royalties, why have they not ever invested in the South African gold royalties? And South Africa is a major gold mining country in the world, you know that. So if Amara is seen to be worthy of this investment, why is that in their own country they've never been used to invest in any mining royalties?
Absolutely. Why are they fronting for Ghana?
So they've been used as a backdoor conduit to steal for data bank. And imagine that they are going to pay them for what they are doing, $4 million. And each month they will pay them 15,000 a month.
Over the weekend, I was listening to a conversation on Newsfile, and there was this argument made about whether or not the deal went through Parliament, because all international transactions, I beg your pardon, must go through Parliament to get parliamentary approval. Article 181 plus 5
Martin raised that
clearly
issue
says that. Yes. So, and the attempt for circumventing that particular process of going to Parliament is what necessitated the presumption of fact as stated by them, right? That this particular company that was fronting for the consummation of that transaction between the Agyapa and the international partner, right, was not one that necessitated the need for us to go to Parliament, because there was not, it didn't look at it as an international transaction that merited us going to Parliament for parliamentary approval. So I mean, those issues were also raised in the sense of this matter. Whether or not the idea of not going to Parliament was an attempt to take advantage of the system and to continue to perpetrate this fraud that we are perpetrating. So I don't know whether or not there's some scintilla of truth in there.
There is, because Martin raised it. And remember, Martin talked about the bid rigging. And you know what bid rigging is? Rigging of elections.
No, you bid, to bid for something.
To use the unorthodox way.
Absolutely. Because even the procurement laws that was breached.
Yes. They were not part of the original. Yes. Absolutely. They were not part of it. And the Financial Management Act was also breached. And when the two are breached, it is a criminal offense. And Martin even went further. Look, the description there, the word he used in describe the chronism, the favoritism, was to further make it look. And Kwame, when you are doing this things, we are dealing with international financial institutions. Kwame, listen to me very carefully. We are dealing with Barclays Bank, Standard by JP Morgan Stanley. These are international institutions, and they are aware that Amara was not part of the bill.
Initial transaction.
They
never even bidded at all.
So what report are they going to send outside
when they were not part of
when they were not part of it? These are not local institutions.
Absolutely.
So now they found out that those who were not part of it have been brought in through the back door, smuggled. In fact, the word Matnamidu was smuggled in. And remember, there's a World Bank report that says that under this government, $3 billion is lost through corruption every year.
Yeah.
You understand? Now all this goes to tell us, to give a very bad picture. And what Matnamidu has discovered, it is no more going to make this transaction value. There's not going to be, it's going to be valueless because it has been tainted with corruption outside there. And those who are going to invest in it, they are going to raise it higher. because they know that the investment is tainted with corruption. And one of the issues I asked is, this bid was done by international bidders. They know that Amara was not part of it. You understand, Kwame? And then Amara finally won it.
The point is that you can still invest. You can still invest, right, without necessarily using intermediaries for the transaction.
Yeah. So the intermediary here was not necessary.
Absolutely. Why bring a third party? To come and front when you could have done it by yourself,
because
you just
know
want to
what
pay somebody.
Doing.
Exactly. So, and that is what most companies do.
Yes,
they bring in these third parties. These third parties front as, so the third parties necessarily become the alter ego of the original companies.
Yes,
and front for some of these things to some of these companies, because they cannot on the face go and engage themselves in some of these transactions. My difficulty is that must we even invest the gold royalties at all?
Kwame, that is the issue.
The bottom line is that, is it so important that we've
run out of borrowing options?
Absolutely. So
and the country is broke.
So that should be the
fundamental. Need money to pay workers.
So from where I sit, that should be the crux of the conversation.
Yes.
The fundamental conversation that we must begin to have, right?
Yeah.
It's not even so much about why the need to invest the royalties, right? But what occasioned the need for us to go and invest those royalties?
Because the government is broke.
So why is the government broke? The government
is broke because they've borrowed over 142 billion.
So that should also form part of the conversations.
They cannot account for anything.
Absolutely.
The total borrowing is 374 billion.
I get it.
Grants, 9 billion euro bonds that they raise. That alone is about 60 billion Ghana cedis.
Good.
What did they
My difficulty is that you politicians have failed. With the greatest of respect to you, my difficulty is that you politicians have failed to look at this infantile issue, right? You are looking at the Agyapa deal in its entirety without necessarily understanding and appreciating why we got here, right? The genesis of our involvement in the Agyapa deal, for me, is as important as the Agyapa deal itself. And you are laying some things bare to the effect that we are so broke, we are not able to internally generate funds to address the teething problems that we have, for which reason we needed to use our royalties as a collateral for some monies, right? So we need to also, in these conversations, bring our minds to the fundamental issue of us being broke, as you are rightly opining. So it's very crucial.
Kwame, this government has had over 20 million Ghana cedis of oil revenue. Are you with me?
I'm with you.
They've gone to use Get Fund to borrow 1.5 billion to pay contractors, Get Fund contractors. As we talk today, the contractors are complaining. What did they use the money for? ESLA, that we left for them, they used to borrow 3 billion Ghana cedis. And yet, the independent power producers, they own the $1.3 billion. I am not saying this. They just made a press conference and said, Bloomberg reported the same thing. The amount of revenue that this government has gotten, unprecedented in the annals of the history of this country, starting from the days of Don Diego de Azambuja, coming to Nkrumah, coming to all the military government, to Rawlings, to President Kufuor, to Mills, and to Mahama. We borrowed only 122 billion Ghana cedis. This government, and that is why we are asking for the presidential debate between President Akufo-Addo and President John Dramani Mahama, so that we know, Ghanaians will know, where you use the money for, where has the money been to. Eurobonds alone, my brother, $9 billion. What did you use the money for? We are asking you to account for it, and to insult us as if we don't know anything, as if we are daft in this country. They tell us that they've done 18,000 projects. For them to show us on the delivery tracker that speed ramps, we did the road, so the NDC did the road. You went and put speed ramps, and you said that is an unprecedented project, Kwame. Then you go and put a polytank at Salga Market and say that polytank is an unprecedented project. Then you go and do public toilets and tell us that those small toilets that you did was the 1 million per constituency that you
it's unbelievable.
Anyway,
I don't want to stay too long on this because the
time is fast spent. But we want the people to understand that he which much is given, much is requested desired from you. We have given you 370.
GH1 TV yesterday saying they're not going to publish the names of the 30,000 names for anybody who is asking for that. The EC and the government should not also make a mistake and say all those people are from the Volta region and the northern region. Stay blessed. Pan-African TV from James. Okay. Shamo from Half a City says the first 4 years of the MPP government is a bottomless pit that we have created, and the next 4 years term will just land us in it. From Fuseni Zukifo Sani Turawa and Samanka, he says, good morning to you, KOD and your panelists. The MPP government is avoiding talking about corruption because they... Can you stop calling the WhatsApp number, sirs and madams? Because they know they have failed when it comes to fighting against corruption. And in Ghana, and Ghanaians, time for changes now. Let's change corrupt Akufo-Addo's government. Good morning. Good morning to you too. This one also says, Mike from Ho says, this doctor is just rational concern in patriotic Ghanaian. The description of the Agyapa deal is precise. Ghanaians should rally behind the NDC for a fair share of the national cake. Champion, good work. Where is it? People are still calling. Wow. Please, good panelists, can you please find the chief translation and sign language to interpret the discussion, because everyone needs to understand, especially in the Ashanti region. Please, good panelists. Okay, well, Champion, good work from all of you. I'm called Sammy. Sammy, I wish we could have, sign language interpreters, right?
Yes.
It would have made it more... Maybe that's a very good suggestion. I'll take it up. I'll take it up. The Agyapa deal is a calculated and planned mafia deal orchestrated by intellectual, business-minded family and friends. At this point, I don't know. I'm tempted to believe the MP people are the ones calling to distract me from reading the messages. By intellectual, business-minded family and friends of Nana Akufo-Addo's government to create a business empire for their families after they exit power. The youth and people of this country should rise up and kick out this government. From Edem in Tema. Edem, good morning to you. Good morning to you, Kwame. We know politicians lie, but this MPP government, their lies are very serious. They do it with their eyes wide opened. Haj Faisal from Kaswa sent in this one. Now this one also says, good morning to you, to all the MPP members. Please call your number again. Your number again?
0244 755 402.
This one says
0244 755 402.
Okay, because people are still asking for your number again. This message simply says, can I get doctor's number again? All right, thank you. Well, so he's put it out. Doc, good morning, sir. Thanks for your insightful thoughts on the subjects being discussed. Please kindly forward my contact to Honorable Atabwedi for me, his longtime son and friend. You didn't add your name, but I'll write your number down and give it to him, Honorable, to call you after the show. Right. This one again says 4 more for Nana. The guy who asked for your number said 4 more for Nana.
Thank you.
We were in this country where people demonstrated against EC for compilation of new voters register. Yes, it was compiled. Will the demo against the Agyapa deal stop it? Well, sometimes demonstrations are not necessarily to stop it, but also to bring the world's attention to what is happening.
Sure.
Boss, even the human-minded succeeded convincing you not to see anything wrong with the famous Agyapa deal, which is nothing more than a state capture, that person may be evil to have succeeded in doing so. But you, the one who accepted that evil narrative, notwithstanding your free will, got to have your head examined. We are in an era of state capture by some very few political echelons using free SHS as cover-up. Be wise. Shalom. Dennis Y. Akoete sent in this one. Boss, the bill going back to Parliament for approval is just dust throwing into the eyes of Ghanaians. The president should have cancelled the deal rather than ordering it to be sent to Parliament. Charlie. This one says the second king Nebuchadnezzar, the Nebuchadnezzar of our time, is President Akufo-Addo. Greetings to the only Messiah for Agyapa constituency, Honorable Cletus Said Dapela, NDCPC, Nampusio in Agyapa sent in this one. The problem with MPP members is that they think they know everything under the sun, and so, wow, who are those calling? Please stop calling. And so they are always right, hence their disgraceful failure. Asanko from Santa Maria sent in this particular message. And this one is also says, hi, we teachers are suffering. The legacy arrears claimed being paid is not true. We want our legacy arrears. If not, we will show this government that we are not kids, because we the teachers can make the comeback, can make them go back, lose power. I don't know. Remy in Laura, your message is not quite clear. Good morning, everyone. Nanado's government is like someone who blames his teammate for not converting a free kick, and he himself ended up missing a penalty kick. From Adams Ashie Fulani. To me, the OSP was established on an initial flawed intention to discredit President Mahama and the NDC, that being the vulnerability of the office in the first place. Secondly, the conspicuous autocratic tendency of the president, coupled with a spate of corruption besetting the government, made it virtually impossible for the office to function. For instance, how can you try the king's son in a king's own court? Imagine a special prosecutor attempting to try Kenufurata or Safimafo. Ricardo from Bechem. Walanya inside Akwatia says the NDC should give us a little bit of respect. We have memories to record deceptions. During President Kufuor's regime, they thought the government corrupt, and when NDC had the chance to rule Ghana after Kufuor, not a single person of ex-President Kufuor's appointees was found liable for any corrupt practice. And the same propaganda tool is being used against President Akufo-Addo's government now. NDC claims Nanaado has lost the fight against corruption, but 5 of NDC former appointees are in prison and others are still on trial at the High Court. Beware of NDC lies and propaganda. See, during Kufuor's time, I can explain. No, beyond that, no, it's not even about that. During President Kufuor's time, right, when Professor Mills won, you know, the father for all attitude, that even made him fall out with former President J.J. Rawlings. So that is explicable. That is explicable. Jack from Edra says politicians are all devils. Kwame, it is clear politicians are really milking this country dry because we line and vote for them. They steal from us and indirectly call us fools. So what you got to do about it? I am Alpha. Investment in this country is gold and rust. Individuals have not seen the need to start by themselves, but rather trust in the entity to take them there, which is the same with the government and past governments. We need to take everything to Formula 1. Anyway, check out my new song, which is official song for the elections. I will check it out, my brother. I will check it out. Kwame, where is it? Kwame, I'm Francis from Agyapa. I hope I got it right. North Kaneshi. Who knows there? The Agyapa deal is a failure to the Akufo-Addo's administration. Anyone that is involved in the deal needs to resign and deal cancelled before they create a financial loss, a huge financial loss to the great country. They have already sworn lots of lawmakers to the highest court of the land to protect them. Oh, I'm a Ghana. Okay. The messages are a lot. I won't see a lot. Let me pause here, right? I just have about 20 minutes to wrap up, but it's important to touch on COVID-19. Look, COVID-19 fight, another lockdown looms, and people are saying it's just political. Others are saying it's real. Others are saying Akufo-Addo has realized he's losing, so he wants to prevent Mahama from going to his strongholds. What do you make of all of these assertions that have been put out by people, which has obviously washed social media and everywhere?
You see, when you create a situation of deception, you give people the opportunity
to conjecture.
Yes, exactly. That's the right word. It's a conjecture. Yeah. So, but let me say, first of all, we need to understand that the disease, the pandemic, is real. Yes, it is real, but we should also concede that the ordinary Ghanaian does not understand how the government fights it. I have always maintained that this is not only an issue of public health, it is also a matter of public policy.
Yep.
And when it comes to public policy, definitely it has another relationship, and that is economic survival. People will need to understand how government fights it. But from day one, there has been an amount of secrecy in relation to the fight against the COVID-19 by the government. And that is why people will be pardoned if they come up with such conjectures. Look at this scenario. Political parties can be allowed to campaign in large numbers without any regard for the COVID measures. And we have seen them. In this case, I'm not referring to any particular political party, all the political parties. But cinemas, which are sources of economic gains,
Are closed.
which are sources of employment, which are sources of economic development, are still closed. So if politicians and their loyalists can operate in the midst of COVID-19, why cinemas can't? Why cinemas can't? So there is a certain agenda that, well, we want to win, but we cannot win in vacuum. We need to allow our opponents to win. Or we need to allow our opponents to be part of the game, the political game, but we still have that agenda to win. And that, I think that's legitimate. No political party enters the competition to lose. Every political party will have that intention to win. So in a situation where you allow the politicians to operate, and then you still lock a considerable amount of economic players.
Yeah.
That alone creates some kind of impression. Now it is clear. If you look at the management of the cases, you and I were surprised when one day about 10,000 people were declared recovered. I don't know whether you
Yeah, I remember that day.
10,000 people.
One day.
One day. Yes, it is scientific. And that is why once it is not superstitious, it is scientific. Then you and I should be given that scientific formula. If it is superstitious, I would say maybe our ancestors did that and then we cannot understand, especially the secularists. They do not understand superstitious nature of things. But once you claim that it is scientific, let me know the scientific basis of your declaration. 10,000 people one day were declared recovered. Now we push that recovery to about 385 or something, at least below 400, right? And then we were there. We were still there for a number of days. We were there. With all humility, in my opinion, people are now more compliant than they were before. Yes, people are now more aware of the dynamics of the pandemic than they were. So that tells you that we should rather continue to have more gains and no losses. Now, so from less than 300, we saw the cases jumping, increasing. Still, do you know how the recovery is done? You don't know. I don't know. I have spoken to some medical practitioners who do not also know. And they should not be shrouded in secrecy. So in a situation where, because of elections, numbers are jumping, and even look at the number, we are still less than 2,000, right? And then you are threatening lockdown. Yeah. Why? People will definitely say it is not because of COVID. Maybe it is because of your political agenda. You see, once again, let me make it clear that these are all conjectures. Unfortunately, the conjectures have been given the oxygen to stay by the manipulative nature of government. So if government doesn't want people to conjecture, it should let all Ghanaians understand the dynamics of the management of the COVID-19. It should also let people understand why the jamming. and why the threat of the lockdown, when even a section of the economic survival of this country is still closed, and I'm referring to the cinemas. I believe the performing arts industry is complaining. I have heard many of them complain bitterly. So government should rather look at the genesis of the issue. It's not just a matter of locking down. And if the government intentionally, if the government is interested in the welfare of the people, not in the welfare of its partisan political fortunes, then definitely the lockdown should affect everybody. When the lockdown comes, government should not campaign. Governing political parties should not campaign. Opposition political parties should not campaign. All the so-called commissioning of projects and whatever should cease. If the lockdown will bring equality in terms of political participation, political conduct, definitely we are ready for it. But in a situation where we will have a total lockdown for the opposition and partial lockdown for the governing political party, definitely it will not be in the interest of democracy. So I am urging the government to reconsider these threats of lockdown.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable, take us away.
Yes, Kwame, I agree with Doc, but you see, this COVID issue has been with us for some time now. We've seen the role that government has played. Where they need commendations, we do. You remember people like you in the media and other concerned people keep complaining that the political parties, because of the campaign, we are violating the COVID protocols. And as a result, I remember when President John Dramani Mahama was in the Brown Half region, specifically in Brekum, he was distributing face masks. And our brothers in MPP said he was distributing money. I laughed. I said, where is the President Mahama going to get the money to distribute? It brings to mind as to how this government, Kwame, it was surprised. Yesterday I was watching a news item, and there's one guy, they call him something Krampa. He went to the Oti region, that he's in charge of governance and then legal something, and distributed and gave the MPP government, the MPP party, 50 brand new motorbikes. 50 motorbikes. Imagine if one of those motorbikes, Kwame, are you with me?
I'm with you.
It's 3,000. How much is that? How did he get the money?
I think when the next government must ensure that all of these CEOs in these state agencies must be investigated.
We have to investigate them.
The kind of money that they are making,
the kind of money they are distributing, COVID money. They are distributing and telling people that it's President Nana that has access to give you this money. COVID money that has been, this government has borrowed 17.2 billion Ghana cedis in terms of COVID. You remember
they are going for another one.
You remember the run to the IMF?
This morning, I'm telling you that they are going for another one.
They ran to the IMF, took a rapid. They went there with the speed of lightning, took $1 billion, went to Parliament, took the stabilization fund, $300 million, and all other monies, and now that money. They've come under the MBSSI, that they are supporting small businesses that has been hit by the COVID. Only what they do is to request people to bring the voter ID cards, and they are all over distributing COVID money to voters. Every program and plans under COVID is geared towards capturing the votes of the electorate. I am using this your forum. I know Pan-Africa people are listening to us. They should take those monies. Those money does not belong to them and vote against them. It's about time the electorate vote against the MPP, for the MPP to know that every penny that is spent on the electorate for them to vote for them, the electorate are not quote-unquote stupid. They know where they belong to. You cannot take, in the name of the people, COVID money, and you are distributing to people and telling that it's President Nana that has asked you to come forward. And let me tell you something. Yes, it's free money. They have to chop and vote against them so that they will learn their lessons. Look, Kwame, they are even asking people to present party cards. People have called us and told us this. Look at what is happening at the airport. When you arrive, you are supposed to pay $150. And look at what is happening there, Kwame. You go there, and that the company that is in charge, the Frontiers Health, is in charge. These are friends and families of the president, and at the end of the day, they are getting $13 million from that. That money could have gone to Noguchi. Noguchi is an institution that belongs to the people of this country, and they are suffocating. They don't even have money to retool their equipment and to buy new equipment and to pay the workers of Noguchi very well, that they can be able to do proper research into this virus that has come to stay over us. A private man has set up a company that has no track record in these novel diseases, and they are using that even in terms of people suffering. They are milking the people of this country and making money. You remember the money that they said they paid, the 56 million Ghana cedis for distributing of rice for people who were locked down, 400,000 people for just 3 days, people within Accra and Kumasi, and you are telling us that you spent 56 million Ghana cedis in distributing the money. Even if you were distributing 100 Ghana to the 30 million people in Ghana here, every person would have gotten 1 million Ghana cedis, and there would have still been a balance left. And you cannot account for such money. You have borrowed such an amount of money. Everything you are doing today, CEOs with this money. CEOs. Remember the PRO for Ghana Gas. What is the name? Something Bempa. Owusu Bempa. You could not buy anything today. You have gone back to his constituent. What's the name? In Kumasi, to distribute motorbikes. They are now all over. Every CEO, every worker is now distributing motorbikes. These same motorbikes, after the elections, they will use them for Okada. And you are saying that you don't support Okada, Kwame. You have given me motor to campaign for it to win the election. Afterward, you want me to be what do you want me to do? It's not for Okada business. Thank you, Honorable. You are indirectly telling the people that this is Okada for you.
Thank you, Honorable. I like the angle from which you looked at the issue. This was
tell me that you are not.
Good morning to you, KOD. You are mixed. You are mixed, though. Kwame, as always, this government didn't come to help our country, but to greedily enrich themselves overnight. Greetings to the NDC incoming MP for Ayawaso Central Rocks constituency, Abdul Rauf Roxin from Pig Farm sent in this one. Let me read a few other messages and then wrap up on today's show. I skipped the last topic because it's the same as, that's why I decided not to touch on that. Kwame, why Martin Amidu is jealous of Mahama, I don't know. He should go away with his bad luck. 4 more for what? Stealing or what? Mark from Uti region. Ghanaians will not know the many corrupt deals perpetrated by this government until they are out of government. You people, you will see when they leave. To know what they did, Ghanaians need to kick out the MPP for a thorough investigation of the next government. Jojo from Tema sent in this one. There will be a revolution on the 7th of December, and these looters of state resources will be uprooted like cassava. Captain Umoro Chito sent in this one. This one says, hello, good morning to you, Pan-African Television. My special greetings to Dr. Maruzuk, my mentor. He always makes my day with the submissions. Vote Honorable Bonasco Seydou Nuhu, Sola Tuna Kalba constituency as Member of Parliament from TKF in Tamale. This one also says, Ghanaians Pao, if Nanado could deceive God in terms of building cathedral, who are you before him? From Nampusuri in Jirapa, Nimbare. Hi, Kwame. From the look of things, the president Adra himself initiated this Agyapa deal. Why would he still remain adamant in firing the finance minister until now? I still maintain my position. Okay, thank you. Ampim from Brekum. Okay, wait, I'll read that one. This one says, Kwame, check for yourself whether the conspiracy is a reality or not. I shouldn't read it on there. Okay. The magazine, October 22nd, 2023. Yes, I will face the global economy. Kwame, it's a small screen about social engineering. I watch your program every day. Okay. I am downloading this and I will send it to myself. We'll find out. Whether it's a small screen. Hi, Kwame. From the look of things, President Kufuor. Okay, I think I've read this one already. Where's the other one? Ampim in Brekum says, Kwame, this is from German South District. You've sent me a video. I can't play the video now. Good morning to KOD. Ghana is turning into something powerful. My phone and the it's off. Anyway, but thank you. My time is up. It's 9 o'clock. No, my time is up. It's 10. My time with the grace of respect. Okay, you. Few seconds.
Our resource, they'll turn around and tell us that they are self-made men.
Yeah, that's true. Honorable Dr. Marzouk, thank you very much. Dr. Marzouk Abubakar Marzouk is a governance expert. He always joins us on Wednesdays. To discuss very important issues here on the morning show. Thank you very kindly for your time.
Welcome.
Thank you to your Honorable Timothy Atabwede Awontrim, whose wife is celebrating a birthday today. I wish you what you wish for yourself. I wish you eat all the tuza you have in the house today, but reserve some small one before me. When I come to town, I'll come and enjoy that one.
Sure.
Happy birthday to you. God's guidance and blessings, and may you be very, very happy. May you, enjoy all the goodies and the goodies of life. That's all really life is all about.
Sure.
I mean, the bottom line is that you must live, right?
Sure.
So wish you all the best. Strength, health, and love is all we ask for you. Now, to those of you who watched the morning show today, I can't thank you enough. Thank you very much for watching today's edition of Good Morning Africa. My name will remain Kwame Owusu Danso until further notice. But let me just throw this. Let me throw this caution to you. Like, for those of you who are watching me this morning, I am not the sole repository of knowledge. I will not sit here and claim that I know everything. However, what I do know is that if we are not careful and we accept monies from people who are otherwise incompetent and give them positions because of their money, we will forever regret it. So please, those members of parliament who are throwing money around, those newbies, there are some new people who want to come and take the seats from the old ones. They are throwing so much money around. Be careful. Be careful. Ask yourself, where are these people getting the monies from? Would they be able to sustain this? Would they be able to survive when their government is not in power? Would they be able to still give you the money? When they bring you just chop that thing. But think about it, right? Think about it. Don't be bought by. Don't let your conscience be bought with just a pittance. Because that money that they are giving to you, 100 Ghana cedis, will not be money that can take care of you for the rest of your life, right? Please, go ahead. I'll give you.
Can we come out with a legislation that would empower the Auditor General to audit every parliamentarian, every political contestant, audit those people before they even start? I think that will also kept this evil of monetization of our democracy. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So please, don't let people deceive you with 100,000 and your chiefs. Those people we call your chiefs. They've been taking big monies. They've been buying tipper trucks for them individually. They are the ones chopping the big money. You are here taking 100 Ghana cedis and 50 Ghana cedis. You are shouting. Be careful. Be very, very careful. This year's elections, we do or die matter. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.